everyone, and welcome back to the United Star. Today we have Animesh Thakkar here with us from the Football Pundits to talk about the game against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Animesh, I mean, we did a preview like 2 days ago, then we did a review, we're doing a preview again, and then we're playing Villa again on Friday. What do you think of this crazy fixture congestion? They keep saying it's for the fans, but as a fan, do you think it is good? Because I personally think the intensity of football and quality has been particularly low in some of the games, and I'd rather have them spaced out.
I think in general, right, when you come to this festive phase around Christmas, you have three games back to back. So I don't think anything has changed in terms of over the years, it's always been this competitive and this congested, right? Last year, they put in a winter break of sorts for the players after Christmas, so they got something. The thing is, this year it's not possible because of COVID, right? And you're right to say that the quality of football has gone down only in terms of the players. You can't blame the players. They're really giving everything, right? Mental fatigue of being in a bubble constantly, the fear of getting COVID, not being around your families, muscle injuries picking up because of the uh, congested schedule of the Champions League as well, right? But yeah, man, I'm not going to lie. As a fan, I might be a little ungrateful, but I love the football, man. I love waking up every 2 days. There's a game there. On the flip side, does it affect my side? Does it affect United? Do you drop points in the games you could have won? Yes, because of squad rotation and stuff. But I don't think anything has changed in all these years. And I think the players are actually okay to play through this. I think they're fine because professionally they're kind of prepared to have congested games at least around this time of the year. So mentally they should be okay.
Right. Vishesh, the same sort of continuation from that is that we played Leicester, which are a fairly physical team. They're not sort of an easy side. Wolverhampton Wanderers are a similar team. They're not going to sort of, they are going to put in the hard tackles. Their defenders are sort of big, strong defenders. They've got a couple of very good midfielders. So how do you see sort of us approaching this game and how will we be able to handle that physicality?
It's going to be a tricky one because when we look at Wolves, it's always been a draw whenever we play them. I mean, the first thing that comes to your mind is like a boring nil all or a boring 1-1. I think the last time we beat them was like in the FA Cup with Mata scoring that goal. But I think Wolves will set up and stay back for the simple reason that they know that United cannot break down the back 10 or how they set up and use Neto and Podence on the attack. So what we need to do is issure that we have our defense sorted out, which is really tricky because the likes of Lindelof walked off injured. We have no idea what state Van Bissaka is. So I'm scared from a defensive point of view because I think they can get us on the counter more than anything else.
Right. So, Animesh, Vishesh makes a valid point about Wolves playing on the counter. But if having seen Wolves this season, they've sort of been stuck in this sort of void where they either, in some games, they try to play too aggressively and then they concede, and in some games, they just sit back and are unable to create. Sort of Nuno
Yeah.
has tried to play this sort of pressing game and all that, but it's not worked out. And that
Yeah.
reflects in their position in the table. So, what kind of Wolves do you expect to come out, and how big of a loss is Raul Jimenez to them?
Look, Raul Jimenez is really crucial to the way they play because they have that habit of just playing around that one focal striker. Right? That's what we've seen since they came back up to the league. Um, but if I give the counter argument there to what even to add to what Vishesh's point was, our danger is the likes of Neto and Podence are the kind of players who've been causing United trouble from the start of the season, right? Those are the players who slip between our defense, which is leaking those errors per game. So I'd be a little worried about Podence dropping his shoulder, moving in, having a go at Luke Shaw or Telles, whoever starts. I'll be a little worried about Neto running through the middle if Van Bissaka is not playing specially, right? We don't know about Van Bissaka. He'll be very crucial in this game. If Van Bissaka is playing, I'll be definitely more confident. But as of now, if it's Swansea, let's say against Neto coming in, tracking him in, it is a bit of a worry. Uh, Look, Wolves, the good thing though is Wolves are, like you said, very poor this year, okay? Even with when Jimenez was fit, they weren't getting in those goals. They aren't the Wolves we've seen last season. And I think it's actually because of Nuno overthinking it. He has changed his defensive pairing of Zema, Kal and Ethnuri. He's done Kilman, he's changed his back line so much. Adama Traore has not gotten the starts. He's persisted with Podence and Neto, and yes, in the games are getting points because of them. But I mean, you would assume that Adamas should be a guy who would really be running, especially with no Jimenez. Adama will be a guy who will just be at defenders causing them problems, letting your Neto run through constantly in your defense, right? So I'd be more than happy if he continues this and not play Adama. It would be a big plus to United, honestly, because Adama will bully, I think, Luke Shaw. I'd be a little worried about that. But I'm optimistic only because I see Wolves shuffling and causing their own problems, while United will be confident that this time there might be more than 2 goals in this game. I do those 1-1s.
Right.
Could be wrong, but yeah.
So I think Annie hit the nail on the head with Nuno overthinking it. What I feel is that it's almost as if he's frustrated that he's not been able to sort of break that Europe barrier and last year, which he did the last season, and he's trying to find new ways to get in there, and he's somehow not just breaking for them. But Vishesh, Annie's almost covered who all are going to start for Wolves in terms of sort of Neto, Foden, Traore should get a game probably. But from United's perspective, Vishesh, what do you think the starting 11 is going to look like?
I think it'd most probably be De Gea and goal with Maguire and Eric Bailly because I wouldn't risk Lindelof. I think we have way more important fixtures coming up. We have a game against Aston Villa, which is also crucial because let's look at it. They have 2 games in hand, and if they win that, they go above us. So I'd go for Eric Bailly, Maguire. Again, I'm guessing he'll play Aaron Wan-Bissaka. That's why he got the 1 week rest that he had with Luke Shaw and McTominay and Fred to cover up the Podence and Neto threat and give our defense some solidarity with Bruno, Greenwood, Rashford, and Cavani. I drop Martial for this game.
Annie, do you agree with that?
Um, I honestly don't know about the midfield, right? So in terms of defense, I think it's actually a very good game. If he could possibly even move to again the three in the back with Luke Shaw playing as a centre back. So Luke Shaw, Maguire, Bai, or you could even get into Anzebi there depending on the fitness ratio of honestly, or even Bai to play back-to-back games. I don't know because he's played already a lot. So then I would then say Teles on the left, Van Bissaka hopefully fit will be up top right. This is where I feel it's interesting, right? I don't think he'll play McTominay and Fred again. I think one of them will make way for Matic or Van der Beek because I think Van der Beek will come into this game. Bruno, Cavani definitely should play this game. Physical game. He should be wrestling with the likes of Cody and Willy Bolly. They need someone at them to annoy them, which is why although I want Martial to start, I won't be too asked if he's dropped. I think it's the right thing to do. Because Rashford still has a pace on the left, right, which Martial's not been able to play off late. So I'll go
So
with that.
actually, y'all mentioned like four midfielders, but there was no mention of Pogba. So I believe that he is going to start this game. And I think the fact that he didn't play and he came on only against Leicester, I feel Pogba will start this game. For some reason, I just don't see Donny Van
The
de Beek
thing,
starting.
the thing with Pogba is how much ever you love him as a player and how much you know that he has the skill and the talent. I just see him to be lazy. I mean, I'm not going to play him against the Podence and Neto that are running at goal
No, but
and
Vishesh, it's
not
not
have the
about whether
likes
you
of
will play him or not, right? It's whether Oli will play him.
yeah, but that's the point, right? If I'm thinking from an Ole's perspective, if I have Neto, Podence, and let's say Adama running towards our goal, I'm not going to play Pogba out there who's going to jog his way back. I rather play either how he said you play Matic sitting behind, or I play the likes of Fred and McTominay who are going to run back to get the ball. I'm not going to see that from Pogba. So if we're gonna do
Possibly.
that, where's he going to
I
fit in?
Yeah, and
mean,
I see
possibly.
Greenwood. Sorry, I forgot to say Greenwood. Greenwood obviously should be on the right in this game.
Yeah. No, so possibly my only rationale about starting Pogba is that he was rested and I don't see Van der Beek starting. And I mean, if the argument is Pedo and Podence and Neto's pace, I don't see Matic being able to do much either. So, Annie, but there's a key player that he's getting the goals for us. I think Vishesh, he's got 13 goals for us, Marcus Rashford. But somehow he isn't converting the number of chances we'd like to. So, what do you think is there? There are two things, maybe like you've said, and you can elaborate on that, that he's a slow starter. But the second thing is that do you think that double back fracture that he had got, the double stress fracture, do you think that is yet on his mind? Because somehow he's just stopped taking on players once yet on his mind at some level.
Yeah, look, I have been always very vocal about the fact that our strikers aren't clinical, right? And somewhere I obviously feel that I'm being very harsh. It's just like as a fan, I'm frustrated when I see chances being missed. I understand that all our front three, all three are still young. Marshall maybe has less excuses now. I would still give Rashford a year and a half to like get his bearings right. I get it. I have been very vocal about him missing chances. I got shit for it too from like on WhatsApp group, right? The thing with Rashford is, I think yes, that stress factor was literally that typifies the player he is. He loves the club so much. He's from the club, right? He gets it so much. I think he almost like he takes too much on mentally, which is where I feel that he sometimes is so overwhelmed when he starts the game where he wants to give it his best. That being overwhelmed is kind of why he fluffs his chances a bit, right? Because you've seen his finishing and the goals he gets. It's insane finishing for the age that he was at what we've been seeing him. Greenwood is the kind of guy we've seen after Rashford to come and give us those finishes. But you see the kind of finishes that Rashford can produce and he's done, they're really, really good. We know Marshall to be the lazy finesse kind of finishing, which is again beautiful to watch. But Rashford has all of them. Rashford gets those headers in, Rashford gets those beautiful goals. He bangs a few in from outside as well. It's just that I feel it's the opposite, right? That he tries to do too much. So he starts a little slowly in his head and he misses these chances when they suddenly show up. But that being said, again, where I feel that maybe I'm also too critical about him is that any good striker in the world, even Harry Kane, right? They get good 3-4 chances a game and they convert one. So are we too harsh on him for missing chances? Yes. But I feel why it happens is because it's not that someone else takes up the slack, right? Like at Liverpool, then you have Salah having a bad game, Mane, Firmino. Firmino's having a bad game, they come and pick up. We always have a phase where all our stars stop performing, or all of them perform together. So it's not like when Rashford's having a piss poor game, Marshall comes and finishes. Against Leicester, Marshall had a good chance as well, right? He also fluffed his lines. So if one of them shows up, right, the pressure takes taking of the other. But they all end up having that same pressure in this game, and they all end up buckling together in the same games. And I think that's where, as fans, our anger is, I think, a little unfair because otherwise they actually have produced great finishes, and we can't really complain because they are young. So I just feel that if at least one of them decides, okay, this game I'll show up, they take the pressure of each other. I think that's where what's happening is they're all a little in their heads.
I think, Annie, you make a fantastic point there that almost Rashford needs to play almost without thought, play more on instinct because he is a fantastic player. The other thing is that, the other thing is, I think why we're a little more harsh on him is that, in my opinion at least, and I think many fans will agree, we expect great things out of Marcus Rashford. I think he's about 18 or 20 goals behind Wayne Rooney at the same age. That's a very high benchmark because Wayne Rooney at this age was an absolute world-class player. So if you rate him by that standard, he's not that far off. He's 8 goals rather, not 18. So I expect that standard from him. And so that's my perspective on it, that I want to rate him by Rashford's standard, which I feel is higher than another average striker. I feel Rashford is way above Martial in terms of mentality. Martial might be one of the best technical players in the Premier League, to be honest, but in terms of mentality, he just doesn't have it. Vishesh, what's your take on this, on our strikers in general and the Rashford situation?
The thing is, Prashant, we spoke about the fracture, but we need to remember he had a shoulder injury as well. He's probably playing along with a shoulder injury this season as well, and he's continuing with it. He withdrew from England, but he didn't step back from United, which shows his commitment towards the club.
You
That's
saw it last night as well. Sorry, versus Leicester.
Yep.
He got pulled. It didn't seem like a bad pull, but clearly he's already aggravated with some pain. So.
Mm-hmm. So he's playing with a shoulder injury, which needs to be taken into account, because I remember there was a game where he was just not making those inside runs, and people said that was possibly because he was scared of a player pushing him the wrong way and that getting aggravated in some manner. So that is one of the things. And secondly, what we need to remember, surprisingly, as a club, we started creating way more chances. So when it comes to us looking at our players, as Annie said, like, our strikers are converting 1 in 4 shots. It's similar to the likes of Vardy and Kane. They don't convert like 4 out of 4 shots. They convert 1 out of 4. But the issue is we started creating so many chances, and that it seems like we're missing a ton for a striker. So when it comes to Rashford, when we need to think about it, it is Rashford and Bruno that have carried us this season. I can't think of a player who's been scoring that regularly or that consistently. So I think we need to take a step back when it comes to Rashford and just give him the time, because I think he knows what he's doing. And yeah.
Yeah. So I think Vishesh, you raise a valid point, and Annie also with Vardy and Vardy and sort of Kane. My only point of contention there is that I'd be happy if he can get 20 goals plus a season in the Premier League, right? If y'all can stick your neck out there and say that he's going to get it this season, then fair enough. But I personally think that he is the player who should be getting 20 plus.
If you look at it now, it's not in the Premier League, but we're not even midway through the season, and he's at 13. So that's a good start for a player who's not even reached halfway through the season.
Right.
Yeah, so you had a very good point. Like I said, I was worried because of the bogey team, and I am still worried because of the quick turnaround. Lucky enough, as United, we always get your Burnleys and Southampton showing up as peak freaking Barcelonas and the keeper showing up as Buffons and just destroying us, right? This is where I feel that if we set up the right way, we could get more than that typical 1-0 or 2-1 win. I think we could get those 2-3 goals this time. Wolves are there for the taking if we set up technically correct. I'm not saying we should underestimate. Nuno is a great manager. We've seen it. He knows how to trigger United, especially, and even our players. He knows them in and out, right? But I have seen enough optimism in the way we've changed our gameplay over the last 3 or 4 games, adapted every game, that we can do it again. We can now adapt to the kind of Wolves kind of teams. We can adapt better to Burnley's now. Our players are technically also, they're downloading updates along with Ole. We can do this, which is great. That's what you want to see as a fan, right? That they are capable of putting up different kind of performances. Where if you are not succeeding in one way against Leicester, look, Ole changed things up, right? We got the second goal. It could have been a 2-1 win any other day. Our defense let us down. Individual errors happened, which is why we didn't. But he did change it up a little bit, right? So you know that they are working. They're getting it on the go. So I'm optimistic. I'm not feeling that bogey of how we were with Wolves last year or the season before.
Right. Vishesh, prediction from you. What do you think? Just one last prediction.
I think probably it'll be a close game. Probably a 2-1 to United, with Cavani being the difference. Honestly, I think Cavani is, even though he may have been a panic buy, he's proving everyone wrong, especially with the way that he's playing and his
fair enough
experience that he's bringing on the field. Like, I didn't think that he's going to put in the performances he has. I mean, he played that game against Everton where he missed tons of chances, but when he got that one crucial opportunity, he took advantage of that. So I think Cavani is going to play a big role in this game if he sticks around.
I think I should also. I mean, I thought Cavani would not physically cope with the league in terms of the way it is, but I think he's been fantastic for us. But yeah, I personally think it's going to be a 3-1 to Man United. I think we will concede. I think Wolves have that attacking threat, but we will win this game, and I think we need to win this game because in my head, I am not thinking of the title challenge. I don't think we're in the title challenge. I've said this 100 times. Because if we are in a title challenge, Aston Villa are also in a title challenge. Is anyone really going to say Aston Villa are in a title challenge?
Asham, but the season has been so unpredictable that you can't say anything.
Yeah.
I mean, did you expect a side that should have been relegated last season to end up with 20 plus points midway through the season? I mean, Leicester was a different thing, but did you expect that to ever happen again? So
don't forget, right? They beat Liverpool 7-2 when Van Dijk was fit.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that they are having a bad day, but they had the best players in place that day.
Yeah.
So they have, I will also admit that they have turned things around. And look at what happened yesterday, man. Arsenal beat Chelsea. I think I was more optimistic than the other Arsenal fans around me. I told them, you know what? I think Arsenal will win 2-1 today. They're like, no way. Like, we're hoping we only don't concede 3. That's how negative they were. But it's also because you can see that the turnaround time and the way managers are adapting, right? This is where Ole is lucky. This is what I'm saying. This is where Ole is lucky in the way that his style of man management or his style is now paying off in a time like this, where apart from the tactics on the board, you need to be the one-on-one kind of guy to tell the players to get them through this tough phase, right? Because look at the other clubs with injuries coming in. Chelsea crumbled. All that freaking Frank Lampard mind game bullshit, James and Chilwell started, it got destroyed. It doesn't always work. This is where you need an Ole kind of manager to maybe get that performance out of the players when they're fatigued, when they're a little missing home, it's a festive time. And those small things you say, what shit are you talking about defending him? No, it's just that's how. What do you think Ferguson used to do? On Boxing Day and New Year's Day? What do you think Ferguson used to do when we had stupid games against Blackburn and all, and we could concede? That's where you need someone who can sit with you and make sure that you calm down, you get through the games, and you get the points.
Right. So fair enough, guys. Let's see. There are fixtures are coming thick and fast. There's Villa, and then we move from there to City, and there are a lot of games. So subscribe to our channel for all the content. Subscribe to the Football Pundits. The links are in the description below. They put out some incredible content on FPL especially. So do check that out. And we'll see you all soon. Let's hope we win this game and we'll see you all for the review. Thanks for watching, guys.
Cheers, guys. See you.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching our video. If you do like it, please click on the thumbs up. and please subscribe to our channel. Click on the bell icon to get daily notifications from the United Star. Follow us on Instagram at the.UnitedStar and we will see you soon.